I'm really glad you know so much about sports, Mo, because we have yet another sports topic that I was actually
Sure.
really fascinated by this weekend. I don't know if you were as well. So, for people that are unaware, but this is a big story, Shedeur Sanders, who is the son of NFL legend Deion Sanders, was expected to be a first or second round draft pick, but instead he slipped all the way to the fifth round and he was finally picked by the Cleveland Browns. I would like to say this is a very layered and complicated story, which I still don't totally understand because my perspective on this is very different than other people's. So his son, Deion Sanders, had hyped his son up for a top five pick and even had been threatening teams if he wasn't picked. Shutter skipped important draft events and bombed some team interviews, with some say was done on purpose to manipulate the teams that would choose or not choose him. He has a huge social media following with another problem, and coaches were allegedly worried that they'd face pressure to start him from the media and from Deion Sanders. And some say the draft snub was resistance to the cockiness of both Deion and Shedeur. There's a New York Times article that literally just came out right before I came here talking about the layers of this. Oh wait, can I just finally show the clip? Sorry, the clip of number 14 of when he finally got draft picked in the fifth round because I felt really bad for him. I was really like emotionally involved in this all weekend. Number 14, please. Very good. Yeah. Okay. So I felt like he was being punished for his dad being like cocky and famous and loud. I don't think there's anything wrong with hyping yourself up, especially if you're a good football player. I felt like he was being targeted. And as a Nepo baby myself, I felt defensive of the fact that he was getting crap for who his dad was. What did you think, Mo? And were you as I was like watching this like it was reality TV all weekend.
This is layered. I'll try to get it all in as quickly as I can. Shedeur Sanders, the son of Deion Sanders, is not a generational talent. His father was representing him, Deion Sanders, and as you said, telling teams to stay away from him or you need to draft him at a certain level. Shedeur Sanders was not thought to be a top five pick. The consensus was that he was more a second or third round pick among NFL executives. But Deion Sanders hyped him up, even had his college jersey number retired recently before the draft. Shedeur Sanders did not show up for the draft combine. So there was something else. Yes, there were the published accounts of him bombing the interviews, but there's more to it because Shedeur Sanders was not necessarily that generational talent that his father was, or even Travis Hunter, his teammate, was. I think that if you're going to be the face of a franchise, which a quarterback is, and also the face of a billion-dollar corporation, which franchises are, you're not going to be able to do it on your terms. And they're also analyzing not only the talent level, but whether Shedeur Sanders or anyone else is a leader of men. Will people follow him? Will people believe him when he's in the huddle? Does he lend himself to be someone that can call plays and it is coachable? And from what I've heard, he's not very coachable because, going back to the arrogance, he feels that he's already where he needs to be and he hasn't played it down in the NFL. All those things work against him when talking to general managers and coaches who are very risk averse. You can make a bad quarterback choice near the top of the draft, like a Jamarcus Russell or a Vince Young or a Jameis Winston, who all went number one, black quarterbacks, because I'm getting there. There's layered issues to this. And they bomb, they're bust, and then the quarterback and the coach and the GM are fired. So you're not going to risk your career on a guy who seems like he's not coachable, he's not an elite talent, and he's more listening to Deion Sanders than the people who are not his family and can help him as a football player.
Mm-hmm. I understand what you're saying. I don't know why I felt so bad for him all weekend. I think because there was just so much social media attention and so much focus. I heard a rumor that even though he's got, drafted to the Browns, that it may not even work out for him there. Do you think there's any truth to that?
I absolutely think it's truth. He was drafted as a fifth round pick. And if you're drafted in the first or second round, they're probably not going to cut you. But being drafted in the fifth round, there's probably two other quarterbacks which are ahead of him on the depth chart. But here's where the meritocracy of the NFL does come in. He will have the opportunity to either prove his detractors right or wrong. He will be in camp. He will take the reps. He will have a chance to show what he can do. But if he does not show up and he does not meet that standard, yes, he will be cut, and then he will have to find his way as a free agent. Again, I don't think he's as good as advertised. If I want to go down and have a football conversation, I'd say he stays too long in the pocket. He does not read defenses well. His arm is average. But beyond that, I don't know if he's a leader. And we're talking about being a leader in the NFL as a quarterback where people will trust and follow him. And if he can't demonstrate that he's a leader very quickly, yes, he will be cut.
Do you think he's humbled right now?
Only in the sense of he's going to use being drafted as in the 5th round as fire to prove people wrong. But I don't know if he's humble enough to take the coaching that he needs to accept to become better. Because let's not forget, he was not on the level of an elite quarterback in college. And then you put him in the NFL with people who are truly elite, because there's NFL talent all around you. The game is going to be much faster than he's used to at Colorado, which was a mid-level FBS football program. It's not talking about one of the top teams in the SEC or even the Big Ten. We're talking about the Big 12 coming from the Pac-12. Mediocre competition. He's going to have to really prove that all the detractors are wrong. I don't know if he will.
Is that why he skipped the combine? Because he's just not as good as everybody else and he didn't want the stats to prove it?
I think he's been gassed by his father saying that you don't have to do the combine. And most GMs were saying, I'm not so sure that he's as good as his father, his advertising him. And yes, I think he would have been exposed at the combine. I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I don't know how you can be eligible for the draft if you skip the combine. That should be a mandatory part of it.
Really quick, we have we have a question, I believe. We have many questions, many hands up. People like this topic. Thank you. Who is our first person? Augie, thank you so much for joining. She's our producer's dad. Augie, would you have a question for me, Mo, or Miranda?
First of all, hello.
Hello. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for your daughter. She's fabulous.
Thank you. So I have to agree with pretty much everything Mo said. It was Shedeur's own doing that he fell to the 5th round. Talent-wise, he's not as good as the quarterbacks that got chosen ahead of him for sure. But I still think he would have gotten chosen maybe in the 2nd round if in fact he had a better attitude. I'm a New York Giants fan, big time, and the Giants were picking 3rd in the draft, and they heavily recruited him, and they were serious about drafting him. They brought him into Giants camp for an interview. They gave him the questions to the answers and said, hey, we're going to ask you to put yourself in these positions. The defense is showing this, blah, blah, blah. How would you handle it? What play would you run? Would you audible? They gave him all the questions, and all he had to do was just answer them. And he went there. He was cocky in the interview. He was unprepared, couldn't answer any of the questions. And then he was combative to the head coach. That word spreads. There's no way he was getting drafted after all of that. No way.
Mm-hmm.